Hey guys, London here. We're here to talk about the next song on the EP called Something That I'll Never Do. And I know all we want to talk about is that sick guitar solo by the one and only Cody Clegg. Another plug in the description right there. If you're not following Cody Clegg, please go subscribe to his YouTube. An incredible guitarist and amazing person and a very, very, very good friend. But there are other things that happen and things that are said within this song other than that guitar solo. Okay, I know it's crazy. That's the only part anyone's ever gonna want to hear, because that's the only part I want to hear. I get it. That solo's amazing. But lyrically, this song is talking about one of the probably most near to heart, sensitive subjects that could be kind of controversial at first listen. But I just wanted to clear some things up about how I feel about this song, because in the lyrics I explicitly say how I feel about what it was like to be a worship leader, because I was a worship leader for a while and played in all kinds of different churches in the United States. Led worship, sang, played guitar, played bass, even some drums sometimes. Did the whole nine. And I really wanted to write a song about my perspective of what it was happening to me as I was being a worship leader and pursuing that like career as a worship leader, and how that resonated with me. And I want to say up front about I want to nip this in the butt of, this is not a greater than thou mentality that I have of anybody who does worship leading or blah 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 blah. Anyone who's getting paid to do what they to do worship and things like that. This song is not a jab at people that do that. It's only talking about me and my experience with worship leading. And it's I say it in the lyrics, it's easy to forget the reason you're on the stage. And it was easy for me to just be performing rather than doing what I was there to do. And a big factor of that was the fact that I was getting paid. And I was getting paid pretty well for a lot of the gigs that I did. And the fact that I just refer to it as gigs is also why it doesn't sit right with me anymore. And that's why it's something that I'll never do. I'd rather create music that have ideas that can challenge people and thought-provoke people and maybe guide people into a relationship, if they so choose. They choose to hear into a relationship with Jesus, because I am a believer. Something about me putting my talents toward or performing on a stage, it was hard for me to strike this balance of like, okay, I'm not just performing, I'm having an experience and I'm leading an experience. And something about the getting paid and then large groups of people, it felt more like a performance rather than an experience. And it was hard for me to kind of fight that. And I fought it for years. And it's not like every single time I performed I was feeling that. Sometimes felt more authentic than others, but the ultimate reality that I was getting paid pretty dang well, it just doesn't, it didn't, and it doesn't feel right for me anymore. I feel like I should probably talk about it in this song. Through seasons, the band that I actually was creating music with, Christian music with, we had kind of a falling out. Me and one of the band members kind of had I want to say it was honestly just like a brotherly spat that kind of got out of hand. And I did some stupid stuff. I'll admit it up straight on camera. In the thick of quarantine, I was kind of backsliding a lot back into some old habits, drinking a lot, doing more stuff. I got wrapped up in cocaine abuse, actually. As embarrassing as it is to say, because I've always been so against things like that, especially after I was saved. Going through all this, it was it's embarrassing to talk about, but it's not who I was and who I am. So I was doing some stupid stuff. I was living with him at the time, and the lifestyle just kind of caught up with me again after losing my grandfather. There's no excuse for some of the stuff I did, but what happened was I started stealing alcohol from my buddy. He had like whiskey and other drinks, tequilas and stuff. And you know, he would be at work. It'd be like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would go and steal some of his booze because I needed it. And as embarrassing as it was, and I did that enough times, they decided they didn't want to, I say they, because I had 2 roommates at the time, but they didn't want me to room and stay in their house anymore, because I was taking their booze, and, you know, I was working in karaoke at the time too, so I wasn't getting home till 3 or 4 in the morning either. So, and I was still up till 7 or 8 because it's just, that was the lifestyle and that was the substance. But they decided to ask me to leave and gave me like a couple weeks or a month or whatever it was at the time. But I decided to be spiteful and smoked a cigarette in the house, just to be spiteful. It was coming from a place of anger and feeling deserted that I just lashed out of spite. And it's there's no excuse for it, but they decided to move all of my stuff, every piece of equipment, all of my furniture, all of my stuff, and they moved it to my mom's house while I was sleeping and recovering the next day after our altercation of smoking the cigarette in the house and having an argument. So we haven't really talked since, but between that event and some of the feelings of how I felt on the stage performing while getting paid to give someone an experience with God, it was a couple of levels of like a reality check that like there's something that I'll never do. There's something that I'll never do, which is lead worship like that again. At least getting paid to do it. Getting paid to do it, I don't think I could do it again. It just doesn't sit right with me. And that's not coming from like a greater than thou, like I said earlier in the video. If there are people out there that do worship lead and get paid for it, it's not a knock. I'm not knocking that. It just doesn't quite sit right with me. And ultimately, it's between the person and God. So I'm not one to argue their relationship, you know. But as far as I'm concerned, it just doesn't sit right with me. And maybe we can talk more about this subject in like a different video if this is like an interesting concept to you guys, or if anyone who's been in the worship leading scene can relate to that. But yeah, this song is very near and dear to my heart. It's just it's explaining why there's something that I'll never do. And I just wanted to give a little more insight as to the reasoning for that, not just because I'm like, F you, God, like, nah, I'm too cool. The fact that you're getting paid to worship is cringe, dude. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. That's never how I thought about it, but I definitely feel like I needed to kind of clear that up so you guys could understand where I'm coming from with that song. But it's an intense one, and I love that song mostly because of the Cody Clegg solo, and it distracts me from the realities of everything else in it. So thank you, Cody. I'm gonna get out of here. See you in the next one. That was something that I'll never do. Bye.